Let's see if I can explain why December goal setting is such a trap for ADHD entrepreneurs while I decorate cookies, hopefully without going all the way off the rails. And to avoid falling into like the perfectionism trap, I'm only going to give myself 3 real minutes to actually decorate the cookie. So why cookie decorating for this particular video? Well, because it looks so simple and there's all these videos out there that make it look really, really simple. And then all of a sudden icing's everywhere, the design collapses and you're improvising like out the wazoo, which is about what I think is going to happen today. But this mirrors so well how ADHD entrepreneurs end up setting goals in December with all of these high intentions and then end up imploding under unrealistic expectations by the end of January, which ends up leading to the situation where they've just kind of abandoned their goals as a whole by the, middle of the year, if not much, much sooner. Worse than that, they end up in this shame spiral, which creates a whole bunch of additional issues. All right, so in classic ADHD fashion, I've set all of my supplies. I've given myself what I think is a reasonable task and a reasonable amount of time to do so. Let's find out if it actually is. Here we go. All right, so we're going to start. I'm doing Santa's sleigh here. All right, so here's the key points that I want to kind of talk about, right? Year-end goal setting ends up triggering like perfectionism and urgency in, oh, this is already going great. It ends up triggering all of this perfectionism and all of this urgency in entrepreneurs. And a huge part of that comes from the fact that every business owner out there is talking about how much they accomplished for the year, or they are talking about what they are going to accomplish next year. But it ends up creating these kind of spirals, right? Of like, okay, everyone else is doing this thing. And so we end up falling into a little bit of a herd mentality here. That's not going well. Cool. Nice. All right. Oh my God, it's already been a minute. And then all of these entrepreneurs end up setting all of these goals that I saw this on the cover, which is why we're trying this. I'm the only person who has to eat this, so we'll see how bad this goes. But we end up setting all of these goals based on who we wish we were instead of who we actually are. Oh, it's getting worse. Which just kind of makes things worse, right? We end up setting this goal of like, well, I should be this person who can accomplish this much, and not realizing that like that may not be who you are today. So we end up setting ourselves up for failure, which means we end up teaching ourselves that goal setting equals failure. So now it becomes something that we avoid. I'm going to get this everywhere. Down to a minute almost. This is actually much harder than I thought it was going to be. And there goes the icing on the tablecloth. I've hit on less than half of the points that I wanted to hit on here for y'all. All right, so what do we do about this? I don't even know why I'm opening this. I have nothing to do with this. So how do we fix this? Okay, so here's a... Y'all, there's icing everywhere. And I'm panicking. And we're just gonna do this. Oh! Okay, so how do you fix your goal settings since I clearly cannot fix my cookie? Okay, so a couple of things. First and foremost, our goal has to be to set micro goals that match energy patterns, not seasonal pressure. So understand if you have a ton of energy for goal setting and planning now, do planning, but do it based on like what is actually going on in the economic space around you. And then maybe set goals after you pass that pressure period. I just want to point out, I finished the cookie, kind of, before the timer went off. So now suddenly our icing analogy becomes like, not just an analogy for like decorating the cookie, but it actually becomes an analogy for how when we set our goals under these pressure with all these goals, with everyone else doing it, and from a perspective of who we think we should be, not who we actually are, now that is when we start to create all these problems for ourselves. So you end up with this situation where the cookie turns out nothing like the box recommends. Look, if your goals are not making you feel very smart right now, it may not be your fault. We have some great videos out there. I created a video earlier this year about climb goal setting, which is the type of goal setting I prefer to do, which actually works with the ADHD brain. First and foremost, I would recommend that you, one, remember that setting goals this time of year is like cookie decorating. It seems like a lot of fun. It gets the dopamine going, but oftentimes it just ends up creating a mess. So take a step back. You can set goals, but remember to set goals for who you are. Set goals based on where you know you're going to be energetically or seasonally, and then cut yourself a little bit of slack. Like, know that the early part of next year is going to be a lot going on all at once. So understand you're not going to get it all done in January. You may need to plan to come back to it end of January, etc. Give yourself some grace because what you're working on is definitely worth it. Remember that if your goals end up looking a little bit more like the cookie you imagined than the cookie you actually ended up with, don't beat yourself up if you have to adjust them. That's okay. Zig Ziglar once said that what you get by achieving your goals is more important than what you get by achieving your goals. As in, what you get by moving towards your goals is more important than what you get by actually getting to them. So take a deep breath. Don't let yourself spiral here. You got this.